Dr. Laura Dabney here, talking about intimacy outside the bedroom. It's a whole new frontier for some people, apparently. And that's kind of sad and really important because intimacy outside the bedroom is what makes intimacy in the bedroom better or there at all. Some people come in and they are complaining that they don't have intimacy in the bedroom, but there's a whole dearth of intimacy in their relationship, period. So I'm going to share with you a couple of things that, actually three forms of intimacy that you may not have thought of. And I have several people coming back to me telling me how much it's made a difference to them. One is to do things together. This may sound obvious, and it's all over social media and the movies and everything. When you see a happy couple, they're doing something together. But people, you get really busy and you're at your work and she's at her work, and then you come home and someone's making dinner and someone's watching the TV or working with the kids, and then he's on his phone, she's watching a movie. I don't know. It's all different. And then they wonder where the intimacy is. Or they think that's okay, but they could have date night. But then something happens. The babysitter's sick, the kid's sick, they're too tired to go out. So that goes by the wayside, right? And this doesn't have to be sex, and this doesn't have to even be talking. This can just be anything. So if you think about things that you do that you can invite your significant other to join you, or can you just go join your significant other? I mean, something as simple as getting ready in the morning. Can you go in the bathroom and get ready at the same time? Again, it doesn't have to be deep conversation to be intimate, just hanging out together. What if your significant other's cooking and you went in and offered to be the taste tester, or to chop up some vegetables, or just sit and have a glass of wine together while she's cooking? So there's a lot of different ways that we can hang out together to increase the intimacy. It doesn't have to be a big production. It doesn't have to involve a babysitter. Just time hanging out. We'd be amazed at how much that can help. That one little change. So here's another one. People, if you think about it, most people divide themselves up into either avoiders of confrontation or ones who sort of dive head on into confrontation. I would say nobody really likes confrontation. No one's ever come in and said, I liked confrontation. But some people are, I guess they call themselves more, I take action. When I see something wrong, I take action. So either you're an action taker or you're an action avoider in difficult discussions. If you're a action avoider when you sense difficulty, that is really decreasing the intimacy. I know you think it's increasing intimacy because you're avoiding confrontational topics or difficult topics, but it doesn't work because you're actually leaving and you're burying something that's bothering you. And therefore that serves as a symbolic wedge between you and your significant other. And you don't think you show it, but most people in long-term relationships sense that something is wrong. And that's another wedge. Okay? So if you're an avoider, try to step in to what you think is going to be a difficult conversation. But here's a line you can use to ease that transition. You don't have to dive right in. That may be very hard for you to do if you've never done it. So you might start with simply saying that you're anxious about the conversation. You can talk about the anxiety even before the conversation. Something along the lines of, look, there's this elephant in the room. I'm really anxious about talking to you about this because I'm afraid it's not going to go well. Okay. If you say that, you're preparing the other person for some difficulty, or maybe they know you're already in distress, so there's a higher chance that they're going to try to soothe you, that they may not go off into, some rant or whatever it is you're afraid of because you've already told them this is so hard for you. Okay? So use that as a way to bridge that avoidance. And then, of course, I'm going to go now to the third point, which is the flip side. Those of you who are ones who you act. When something's wrong, you act. Well, try not acting. Again, sometimes taking action without giving thought as to the timing, the purpose, the history of taking action, sometimes it doesn't go so well, right? And if that's your only speed is to take action, you're missing the passivity, right? So that we have to keep in mind that there's constructive aggression and constructive passivity. Most people who are in relationship trouble tend to idealize one of these, right? It's either all about taking action or constructive aggression or all constructive passivity, right? We're just going to lay low. But ideally, we want you to be able to pull out the most appropriate one of these given the situation. Here's an example. I had a patient who was in this pattern that he could see, which is good. He could see the pattern of they would talk about something difficult, and his wife would sort of cave, and he would suspect that she wasn't really crazy about the idea and that she was just, giving it to him. But she wouldn't admit it. No, that's fine. We'll do that. It doesn't really bother me. That whole thing. And then she'd say something under her breath. And he would be tearing his hair out. What did you say? I didn't hear you. Encouraging her to talk, demanding that she talk, cajoling her into talking. He tried everything. And he said, how do I get her to talk, Dr. Dabney? And I said, stop talking. He had to understand that he was taking action, right? He's going to make her, force her, make it happen. As opposed to every single time he's done that, she just shuts down. She doesn't have to say anything, and she doesn't. So he wasn't seeing the pattern and the results, and that he has the control of not starting the conversation in the first place, right? If she says something under her breath, don't say anything. Guess what happened? Well, she then had to come back and tell him if she really wanted him to hear, or she stopped saying it. I've had 2 examples of those, and both times one of those things happened. And they were shocked that passivity sometimes works better. And as in the previous example, sometimes stepping in and getting something taken care of, taking action, constructive aggression, is also sometimes better. Okay, so those are simple ways you can bridge the gap between you and your significant other, which means increasing the intimacy. So I'm always interested in how it goes, so please let me know. 757-340-8800.